We had some disassembly left, like the rear headlight, speedometer cluster, and carburetors. However, I was already preparing for the next step. After tearing the Suzuki apart, I wanted to establish some kind of system for the restoration process. Often, spending 2 hours in preparation can save you 10 or 20 hours during certain steps in the future. First, I segregated all the parts into 3 groups. Group 1. Parts in perfect condition that I'll be reusing and don't need any further attention. Group 2. Parts that are restorable or repairable and worth the effort of restoration. Group 3. Parts that are destroyed, unrestorable, or not worth restoring. Building Group 1 was pretty simple, as there were barely any parts in this category. Most of the gearbox and bottom end components only needed thorough cleaning and the replacement of seals, O-rings, and gaskets. So this group mainly consisted of a few engine parts. Group 2 was a different story. First, all of the parts needed to be cleaned and prepped for the next steps. I cleaned most of the engine parts using a workshop parts washer, but many of them required further processes afterward. One of my favorite methods of cleaning engine parts or carburetors is soda blasting, which thoroughly cleans the surfaces without leaving any texture or marks, even on soft metal. Most of the old rusty chassis parts needed sandblasting. So I created a subgroup, let's call it 2-1, with a giant bucket as its temporary home for parts needing sandblasting and powder coating. The second subgroup, codenamed 2-2, was for parts that needed cleaning with another abrasive blasting method, preferably something with a lower grit to leave a smooth finish, or wire wheel. This is because Group 2-2 was intended for galvanizing. Restorable parts requiring galvanizing made up the most numerous group. According to my notes, I counted over 500 parts treated this way, mainly bolts, nuts, hinges, brackets, mounts, and similar components. I cataloged these parts by dividing them into sets or assemblies, assigning each a number, measurement, photo, and description in my notebook to ensure I wouldn't be left with a bolt or washer that I had no idea where it belonged. The third subgroup, codenamed 2-3, consisted of parts that needed cleaning, sandblasting, soda blasting, or glass bead blasting, followed by repainting, all without any third-party involvement. Group 3 was straightforward, at least in theory. You bin them, sit down at the PC, and search for aftermarket replacement kits, OEM parts, or used OEM parts that are restorable. The problem with those is that, in my opinion, nothing is unrestorable, and I tend to take it personally. I hate to throw things away, and I hate to accept they are dead. But sometimes it's 10 times easier to find a new part than to restore some rotten junk you have. Sitting in front of a computer looking for parts or materials and talking to people who might know where or how to find them often takes up to 30 to 50% of your time when restoring a classic. If I bought a part that was reusable but needed some work, it was assigned straight to Group 2. During the restoration period, I received more than 30 parcels, and that's only counting parts for the Suzuki, not the workshop materials, parts and supplies I ordered daily. Overall, I ended up restoring some parts that I wanted to retire, and retiring parts that I wanted to restore. There are plans, and then there is reality. With all the parts in the buckets, the assembly was on the horizon. I planned to start with the frame and build around it. Soon, work was set to begin on assembling the first parts of the reborn Suzuki.